Some voices felt like they were everywhere, until they weren't. A few chart toppers dipped, disappeared, or got buried under label politics, bad contracts, or personal chaos. But here's the thing, they didn't vanish. They just kept moving, on their own terms. From Cassie whispering her way into MySpace history, to standing in courtrooms with the world watching. From JoJo topping charts at 13 to suing her label just to be heard again. From Mia singing your ex into oblivion to building a quiet empire as an indie R&B icon.
And you told me that she turned trick when y'all broke up in 96.
These are the stories behind the silence, the hits, the heartbreaks, the rebuilds. Let's catch up. Back in 2006, a 19-year-old named Cassie slid a breathy demo called Me and You onto MySpace. Ryan Leslie polished it up, Diddy signed her to Bad Boy, and boom, the single rocketed to #1, 3 on the Hot 100, went platinum, and turned Cassie Ventura into the face of mid-Uzern's alt R&B. Her self-titled debut followed, landing at #4 on the Billboard 200, and proving she was more than a one-off ringtone smash. While radio cooled off, Cassie kept building a resume, a sleek 2013 mixtape Rock-A-Bye Baby that critics still stand for, brand deals with Calvin Klein, Adidas, Forever 21, and glossy shoots for GQ and 17. Modeling gigs paid the bills. Acting gigs, Step Up to the Streets, and Rom-Com The Perfect Match kept her visible, even when the charts didn't. By 2007, Cassie and Diddy were in a messy on and off relationship that lasted over a decade. She stayed quiet until 2023, when she sued him for rape, abuse, trafficking. The case settled fast, but the feds picked it up. Now, in 2025, Diddy's facing serious charges, and Cassie, pregnant and on the stand, is a key witness. Post-Diddy, she married trainer Alex Fine, had 2 kids, with a third on the way, and still pops up for fashion gigs. Her story's been chaotic, painful, and public, but she's finally in control. Next, Vanessa Carlton.
If I could fall into the sky.
Back in 2002, Vanessa Carlton gave us a piano riff that basically defined an era. 1,000 Miles wasn't just a hit, it was the soundtrack to every early 2000s rom-com montage and teenage heartbreak. 3 Grammy nominations later, she could have chased pop superstardom forever, but that was never really her lane. She kept evolving. Albums like Harmonium, Heroes and Thieves, and Love is an Art proved she was more than a one-song wonder. The sound shifted, the lyrics got deeper, the artistry more layered. Not everything topped the charts, but if you listened closely, you could hear a woman growing into herself, sharp, soulful, and completely uninterested in playing it safe. These days, she's living in Rhode Island, tucked away in a 19th century house she shares with her husband, John Macaulay of Dear Tick, and their daughter. She's been vocal about reproductive rights after a 2013 ectopic pregnancy, turning pain into advocacy. She didn't vanish. She's just been building quietly, on her own terms. Next, Maya.
And you told me that she turned trick when y'all broke up in 96.
Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Mia was everywhere. That voice, instantly recognizable. That style, unmatched. She slid onto the scene in 1998 with her debut album, and by 2000, she had the whole world singing Case of the Ex. A year later, she teamed up with Christina Aguilera, Lil Kim, and Pink for Lady Marmalade, and walked away with a Grammy. But just when it seemed like she was destined to sit at the top of every chart, label drama hit. Instead of fading away or playing industry games, Mia made a boss move. In 2008, she went independent and launched her own label, Planet 9. As an indie artist, she's been everywhere, touring non-stop, connecting with fans from Japan to South Africa, and staying loyal to that core R&B sound. In 2023, she dropped the single Anytime. Smooth, sultry, and exactly what her day one fans signed up for. So, while the mainstream might have moved on to the next shiny thing, Mia never stopped working, never stopped creating, never stopped performing. Next, Stacie Orrico. Back in the early 2000s, Stacie Orrico was that rare mix, faith-based but fresh, radio-friendly but real. She broke through with Stuck and There's Gotta Be More to Life, tracks that had Christian kids and TRL teens in a chokehold. By 17, she'd sold over 3.4 million albums worldwide and officially made the leap from gospel darling to full-blown pop star. But fame wasn't the fairy tale. Behind the scenes, Stacie was crumbling. Between industry expectations and a growing sense of disconnect from herself, she later admitted she felt like a fraud, anxious, burnt out, and boxed in. So in 2008, just when most artists would have doubled down, she walked away. She had to rebuild. She studied women's literature, trained as a Pilates instructor, dipped into acting, and did humanitarian work in Africa. In 2023, she quietly returned to the stage, starring in Once with the Savannah Repertory Theater. Now based in Nashville, she's married, raising 2 kids. And for fans who've been waiting, she's not done. In 2024, she announced a retrospective album, a documentary, and a tour, blending her early hits with everything she's learned since. Next, JoJo. Back in the early 2000s, JoJo wasn't just a teen pop star, she was the voice. At 13, she dropped Leave, Get Out, and instantly became the youngest solo artist to top the Billboard Pop Songs chart. Then came Too Little Too Late, and boom, she was everywhere. But behind that voice was a girl caught in a contract she couldn't escape. Her label, Blackground Records, locked her up. They shelved her 3rd album, froze her momentum, and basically held her career hostage. JoJo was recording songs the world never got to hear, stuck in a deal she signed as a kid. It got so bad, she had to take them to court. And in 2013, she filed a lawsuit using New York's 7-year rule for minors. JoJo broke free in 2014, signed with Atlantic, and dropped Mad Love in 2016. She re-recorded her first 2 albums in 2018 to take back her work. By 2024, she released her memoir, Over the Influence, opening up about addiction, industry pressure, and surviving toxic beauty standards. Next, Natalie Imbruglia.
I'm torn, I'm all out of faith. This is how
Natalie Imbruglia didn't just drop a hit, she dropped a moment. When Torn hit in 1997, it wasn't just playing on every radio, it was playing in every breakup, every mall, every moody teen's brain. Her debut album, Left of the Middle, sold over 10 million copies, and boom. The former Neighbors actress became a global pop star. But then came the footnote. Torn was a cover, originally by Edna Swap. Cue the fan confusion. But let's be real, cover or not, she made it iconic. Natalie followed up with White Lily's Island and Counting Down the Days, the latter hitting number 1 in the UK. Still, not everything landed. Her 2009 album Come to Life flopped commercially, and that led to a full-on hiatus from music. Not a scandal, just someone stepping back to regroup. Natalie bounced between acting, theater, and reality TV. But in 2021, she made her music comeback with Firebird. Then in 2022, she won The Masked Singer UK as Panda. Now, in 2025, she's back on tour, reminding everyone she never really left. Next, Blu Cantrell. Back in 2001, Blu Cantrell stormed the scene with a clapback anthem that had every woman in the early 2000s singing in unison, hit 'em up style. Oops, a breakup banger for the ages. It shot to number 1, 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, made her a household name overnight, and gave us one of the most unforgettable R&B hooks of the decade. Her debut album, So Blue, dropped that same year and went gold, proving she wasn't just a one-track wonder. Then, in 2003, she came back with Bittersweet, and while it didn't make the same splash in the States, the single Breathe, featuring Sean Paul, blew up overseas. It hit number 1 in the UK, turned into a global hit, and kept her name ringing in Europe and beyond. But just when it felt like she was gearing up for her next big chapter, Blu stepped back. She quietly parted ways with Arista, moved to London for a while, and hit pause on the mainstream grind. She told interviewers she needed the space to live, to breathe, to get back to herself.